All right, there we go. Here we go. Y'all, happy Sunday. We're back here at Leadership Lounge Live. I am your host, Lewis Marshall. Let me just get these links dropped into the chat. Give everybody a couple minutes to get dropped in here. Hope you guys are all having a good week. Let's see. Clipboard, drop these links in the chat. There's a lot of new content that just went out. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to get tapped in because we're going to do a full recap today. That's going to include a lot of information. So if you are on and have the opportunity, I would grab a pen and a piece of paper. I'm going to be multi-streaming. Here in just a moment, let me get this opened up. I need the link so that I can open up a space. Bear with me. I had a chance to do some new edits just yesterday. I am really, really, really loving how these new series of videos are coming out. It is looking really, really good. So definitely check out our video section. There's some new content there. If you haven't already, definitely follow our martial artistry page. I'm going to get into my intro. I'm trying to find the link for my video on YouTube. Maybe I gotta go to the other account. Bear with me. Since it's Sunday, there it is. All right, fine. If you're a football fan, let me know in the comments what is your team and where you're watching from. I also have a piece of homework for everybody at the same time. I did post an image just before the live stream that's got 4 different images in it. I want to know which of those 4 images you like the most. And then separately, we're going to do a group project this week with one of the 4 more of 4 of those images. So 2 things that I need from you in the comments. I need to know what is your football team and where you're watching from. And then the post that is my most recent post on my main page, what of those 4 images, 1, 2, 3, or 4, are you rocking with? And then we're going to go from there. For those that got here on time, I'm going to give you some art styles so that we can kind of get into that. I just want to open this space and get this up and going. So bear with me while you guys drop that in. That'll give me a chance to get this open so that I can multi-stream all of this. Episode 36. Man, it has been 36 weeks. Can you guys believe it? Like, it's been a lot that's happened this year. All right, let me get that opened up and close that. We're going to turn that off and we're going to start our watch party. And that should pull me up. Bye. Heck yeah. All right, bet. Yes. All right, there we go. Cool. So I am live. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to start fresh with a quick intro. That only took like 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Hopefully everybody is able to hear me okay? I got my microphone charged. I've got a bunch of art styles sitting in front of me, so I want to do a quick intro. My name is Lewis Marshall. I am the airbrush and AI artist over here at Marshall Artistry. This is the home of the prompt packs. I also specialize in custom water bottles, which you can find at marshallartistry.com. Marshall Artistry does sponsor this show every week, so definitely get tapped in with our Marshall Artistry profiles across all the platforms. To give a little context, I want to start and say I began my AI journey in early 2023, so like January, February 2023. Did not really start taking it serious until maybe October, November of 2023. And ever since, it's been learning prompt structure, prompt engineering, a specific, very unique format for how to put that together across a lot of platforms while answering as many questions as I can and ultimately doing a lot of training of other AI generators. So when I started, and this is on page 1 of my notebook, I'm going to run through a list of art styles that really helped me. And this was from approximately 1 year ago in late October and early November of 2023. This is the list of art styles for AI generation that I've got sitting in front of me. So hopefully you brought your pen and your notepad, or you have your phone open with your notepad, and I'll go kind of slow enough where you can get them written down. The first is deconstructivism. So this is one where you'll see me use this in Myth Punk Mondays a lot, where I'm deconstructing the picture in certain fragmented sections of the either person or background. That art style is deconstructivism. The second is dark synth. That's one that I use a lot in graphics over on Fanbase because I like to have a really dark and gritty feel to the artwork that I put out there for the audience there. I will match that with Dreamcore and Sfumato. So Sfumato is spelled S as in Sam, F as in Frank, U as in umbrella, M as in Marshall, A as in apple, T as in Tom, O as in octopus. Sfumato. So these are 3 art styles that I will pair together to give me a very, very dark, gritty looking feel. So that gives you an idea and something to go back and research. For the homework that I referred to, that I was saying, hey, drop it in the chat. Of those 4 images that I'm referring to, all of those were done with one or more of those 4 art styles that I just went over. So either dark synth, deconstructivism, dreamcore, or sfumato, or a combination of all or some in a prompt. The next set really helps me get to a bit of a psychedelic feel. And these 3 styles are prismatic, diffusion, and tenebrism. Those allow me an opportunity to create something that is very, make them stop in the feed is how I classify it. I want to make a person stop in the feed from scrolling and like look at the artwork. So of those beginner set of art styles, I was able to build a style of my own that I really liked and could go from there and explore more of the other AI styles but that gave me enough to play around with to figure out, okay, I got my feet wet. I want to kind of explore this area a little more. I like this area a little more. From there, I want to jump forward and talk about how I began to structure my prompts. So, to give context, when I began to take it serious in October and November of 2023, what I was trying to do was find the easiest process for description to get the best results for a person that looked like me. Um, I wanted them to have a range of skin tones and hair textures. And I struggled with that across all of the platforms. And so I began to get a lot of questions from other people. Hey, how are you able to get better results in your artwork? So I came up with this framework. I've shared it before and I've kind of revisited all year long. And I'm still currently today using this same prompt structure. And this is how I prompt for realism or photorealism or hyperrealism, however you'd like to classify it. It begins with media quality. Some examples of that are award winning, professional, expert, high detail, a cinematic scene, or masterpiece. These are not all or limited to, but these are some that I use most often. From media quality, I move forward to an image type. What are we creating? Here are some examples of image types: photography, graphic design, background, poster design, sketch or illustration, artwork, photographic portrait, billboard, product display, or mock up. That is a really good list that gives you enough to work from to create a very diverse portfolio of images. So from there, I get into my description. Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it a thing? What is it? Where are they? It gives whatever image generator that you're prompting in an idea of what kind of media is it? What kind of image type is it? Okay, what how do I begin to construct this for you? So from the description, I personally like to go into an art style or art styles plural. I will circle back to that first page where I was giving out the art styles here in a moment, but I want to continue on from art styles into lighting conditions, which I feel is one of the most important aspects of my prompt structure and my prompt framework. For me, how I explain it is I like to have lighting in the foreground, lighting for the main subject, and then lighting behind the main subject in the background. So lighting conditions are not limited to any specific area of the prompt, but I rather encourage it to be in all of the areas of the prompt so that you have the best opportunity to highlight your subject, but separate them from the foreground and background. So some of the lighting conditions that I have used are 3-point lighting, blue hour, golden hour, twilight, backlight, half rear lighting, moody, cinematic, long exposure, and my personal favorite, volumetric lighting. That gives you an idea of how you might be able to light your subject. For those prompt engineers who are using MidJourney, I would add one more to that list. Write this one down on your list. I would include global illumination. That gives you kind of an overall way to light your scene and limit the amount of words that you're dropping in your prompt. So in addition to that list of lighting conditions, I would also include global illumination. From there, depending on what style of artwork or imagery I'm going to be creating, this is the point where 2024 Lewis is saying, well, I might use this for a video. I might want to make this move. Where 2023 Lewis did not have the technology to make an AI image move. So I want to give some context there. When I want my image to come out more like a photorealistic image, I will include a shot type, a camera, and I'll pair it with a lens. So the shot types I will cover in the future as I'm explaining Kling.ai. So for those that are catching this on the replay, fast forward to an hour or so from now. We're going to cover that towards the end. For now, in terms of the prompting for an image, I want to say after the lighting conditions that are spread out throughout the prompt, I will include a shot type, a camera, and a lens. I want to jump back to the art styles that I used at the beginning and give you a few more. So take a moment, grab your pen, your notepad. I've got a couple of more art styles that you may want to try out. And I guess I would include that some of these are aesthetics, and so they'll influence the overall prompt like an aesthetic versus an art style. So let me preface with that. I have found that there are some prefix words that match up well with suffix words. I'll give you an example. The suffix word punk, P-U-N-K, punk, can be matched with a wide variety of prefix words. So let me give you 3 examples. The first is solar punk. The second would be frost punk. And then my personal favorite is myth punk. All of those, I use the suffix of punk, but I interchanged the prefix. So the suffix is punk, core, and wave. I would explore those a lot. Specifically for me, I use wave if I'm going to use it for like a lighting setting. So I'll use glow wave lighting. For the punk suffix, I use that interchangeably as an art style or aesthetic. For core, I'm kind of using that as a cross between an art style and an aesthetic. So you have dream core, surf core, cloud core. You have, I gave you the punks. I also would use glow wave, synth wave, as other ways to use the suffix wave. One of the things that I found in making very technical artworks is using the style Greebles, G as in go, R as in Richter scale, E, energy efficient, B as in boy, L as in Lewis, E as in energy, S as in Sam. Greebles. That has allowed me to get a further level of detail in very technical pieces. Mecha type, transformer type, something that's got a lot of precision parts. This art style aesthetic allows me to get that a lot easier with less words in the prompt by just saying in the styles of Greebles, fused with whatever your other art style might be. So that's one. Another one that I use a lot is anamorphic. It's kind of like an optical illusion, if you will, or that's how I use it within my artwork. Um, Another art style that I've talked about in prior videos is the DMT, District Manager Training art style. It gives a kind of psychedelic feel. So at the beginning, I gave the first 6 or 7 prompts or art styles. Those are all psychedelic, but this DMT style, you don't need to pair it with other art styles to get the same effect. So it's another one to play around. From there, I really at that point last year was heading out of Halloween and into the holiday season. And so I was trying to find art styles that I can make the background more realistic than the main subject. I began to play around with uh, dark matter art, the style or aesthetic, kinetic, and I played around a lot with neuron as a prefix. So I did some neuron flowers. I did a neuron tree. Uh, those were other things that I was able to play around with in terms of an art style and or aesthetic, however you want to classify that. But it allowed me to be able to use those designs in real time for that holiday season, where this year I've had a chance to kind of refine the process and get ahead. I wrote down an example that I'm jumping forward to. So if you have an opportunity, and I'll repeat this 2 or 3 times so that you get an opportunity to write this down. Here's a good way to start a prompt. A cinematic scene of a space movie, and I put brackets. I said daytime, nighttime, lunar eclipse. Shot on a Sony Cinealta. And I know now I would say using a telephoto lens. I'm going to run that back one more time because I don't have access to my chats because I'm using both phones to film. The prompt is as follows: a cinematic scene of a space movie, and then in curly brackets, daytime, nighttime, lunar eclipse, shot on a Sony Cinealta using a telephoto lens. I'll stop there because that's the end of the prompt. What I would say is you can change out the of a space movie and insert your personal settings there. You can change the daytime, nighttime, lunar eclipse to be volumetric lighting, cinematic lighting, long exposure. Whatever is in that curly set of brackets, you can kind of play around with and interchange. So when you see me post a prompt, I'm expecting that you're changing those things to tailor to whatever it is that you want to make, not necessarily what I want to make. It's more meant as a guide and a structure. So again, I'm going to read this prompt again, but I'm going to read it with different inserts. I would say a cinematic scene of a basketball game. I would say in the curly brackets, Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Sonics. Shot on a Sony Cinealta with a 50 millimeter lens. That way I get the variety of, hey, each team separate prompts and meshed with a camera and a lens. So it looks more of a realistic result versus a plastic stylized illustration, if you will. So those little things like adding into the, I say curly brackets, the technical term is permutation prompts. Inside of those permutation prompts, I will add in the things that I want so I can be more efficient and effective with each specific prompt. That permutation or those curly brackets are going to make you a number of different prompts. So it will make you 3 sets of 4. And in my example for the basketball and the basketball teams, it would make you 4 prompts. So 1 full set for Lakers, 1 full set for Celtics, 1 full set for Bulls, and 1 full set for Sonics. So just with 1 prompt. So it allows you to be a little more flexible. You saw that I added in, hey, the image type, the media quality. We added a main subject. We added a little more detail in the teams that we wanted to create. We added in that it was shot on whatever it was shot on, the camera and the lens. What we did not do is add lighting. We're just going to let it be free to do whatever it wants to do. I personally, and this is just a piece of advice, that's where I would add in global illumination. So it gives it more to work with and it gives you more opportunity to have a photorealistic or hyper-realistic result. Let me know if that makes sense. Hit the heart, hit the like. I can't see the chat in either, so I just want to be able to put your thumbs up and if you're in the watch party. If you're on the other platforms, put it in the comments. I'm going to revisit after the show. Okay, so we're going to talk about shot type and cameras as I'm moving forward to Kling. So that covers how I learned to prompt across all of, at that point, ChatGPT, Leonardo AI, MidJourney. I was using the Imagine app, which was a free app. Now you have more options in terms of an image generator. But at that point, I was just trying to find one structure to be able to use across all of the generators. I personally found, and this is just me as an airbrush artist first, I wanted things that looked more realistic. And if I were creating people that look like me, which generator will give me the best opportunity to highlight us in the most positive, constructive way? I personally found, and this is just my preference, if I'm already having to learn how to structure a prompt, I want to work in MidJourney. I'll stop and clarify. I do not have affiliates links with MidJourney. I do not get paid to articulate this. This is just my Lewis Marshall opinion based on my use. I got better results out of MidJourney, and that stands current to date in terms of quality and flexibility to create a really, really diverse, wide range of artwork. I would say MidJourney gives me the best results, quality results. That's no knock at any of the other platforms. That's just my preference. So fast forward to this year, and Leadership Lounge is born because I'm answering a lot of questions about, hey, how do you create the hair texture for Black people, African Americans? How do you get skin tones for people of color? Quick tip. If you are familiar with the Fenty beauty line, I would use their color code system for skin tones and skin complexions. I would use that to reference in my prompts if you're struggling with getting consistent skin complexions. You can actually pull the codes from the site and use those codes and numbers within your prompts. Just another way to be more efficient within your prompts so you get better output and results. So as I was working on figuring out how to live stream and what audio looked like, what video looked like, I also had to figure out and navigate, okay, how do I compile these images in a way that I can use them to teach, but showcase exactly how I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's a lot of questions. It's just so new to mainstream, I would say America, but globally to the mainstream population. This is a new tool and we're still navigating how to use it, but I need to figure out how to just prompt for it. Someone that looks like me. I need to just perfect that. So the framework helped. And then I started teaching and sharing, hey, here's how I do what I do. And you fast forward to this last summer, summer of 2024, and I started seeing other people use animation programs to make their MidJourney, ChatGPT, Leonardo AI images move to some degree. And while I was interested, I just didn't jump into it because I was trying to figure out how to more efficiently explain how I do what I do within MidJourney, because that's the highest quality of images that I've found. And it's really, really, really challenging to prompt in there. So if a person could master that, they could then go back to ChatGPT and have a conversation with a design tool to be able to structure their prompts and get better output. It just takes a little longer to train that than chat versus me learning and perfecting this prompt structure that's kind of universal. So I spent this summer really perfecting how to convey it to everyone across a wide variety of media. So we have a really wide range across the platforms of individuals all the way from preteen to late 70s, early 80s, of all demographics and all expertise levels, with a wide variety of goals that they all want to accomplish. And so finding ways to provide tools and resources and compile them in places across each platform. So across Facebook, across Fanbase, across Instagram, across YouTube, across Twitter, having to put all of the information in the variety of formats led me to, I don't know that I can do this as effectively with a static still image versus I need to learn now how to prompt for video, and whether this prompt framework that I've already come up with will now work for prompting for video. So I want to pause and say, this is now where we're currently in November. For those on the replay watching this at a later date, today is November 10th, 2024. I have been working at Kling.ai, Luma AI, for approximately 60 days. So 2 full months of testing, prompting, checking out the results, finding ways to get better results, refining the prompt framework. And so what I have found is there's a specific way that I can describe it in Kling AI and get really good, clean quality results in their standard mode, which is they function on a token system. So to get professional you have to pay a lot of tokens. It's 70 tokens for 10 seconds. For 5 seconds, it's 35 tokens. If you want to run in standard, it's 20 tokens for 10 seconds. It's 10 tokens for 5 seconds. You also have free. You can get free tokens every single day. I think it's 67 or so tokens. So it allows you to run 6 videos per day. I found that when I began prompting for video, I started out with a singular sentence. The dog runs down the street, whatever. And it would give you a dog running down the street, but it just wasn't very good quality. And I tested a number of different images that came from different generators. So some from MidJourney, some from Bing or Copilot, some from chat, some from FYI AI is the fourth one I think I did with my testing. What I found was if you had not upscaled your image, you didn't have enough resolution when you got to Kling to make it move without morphing. So instantly I was like, hey, get rid of these other ones. I'm only going to fool with MidJourney. I'm back to basics. All right, cool. That refines my process. That is not the only way to do it. I have just found for me, that is the best and most efficient way to get a good quality result is prompt engineer in MidJourney, prompt in a way that is efficient with my use of time. So multiple sets of images coming out at the same time. I personally quality control. Hey, I like this. I don't like this. Hey, rerun this. Make this person face a little different way, whatever that quality control process looks like. Once I've got my images, I then am like preparing to go into Kling and reformat now a second prompt for per image. And sometimes I can cluster them in together, but I am basically doing the MidJourney process, now rinse and repeat that in Kling. So, hey, take this image, let's go into ChatGPT and ask an already trained chat. Here is an image that I want to do this type of scene. Give me multiple options for this image to go into Kling. And my chat, and I've got a video that I'll drop today. I'll make sure that I drop it in the subscriber hub on all the platforms. This is the way that I want this scene to be. I want it to be dynamic. I want it to be in the style of Issa Rae. I want the camera motions to be James Cameron. I want the subject happy and smiling as they're doing whatever they're doing action-wise in said video. So my chat will give me, okay, yes, here, I'll do that to your specific specifications, and here are 5 options. So it will do like an intro shot, that's an up close. It'll do a 360 camera movement for the second one. It'll have one where they're walking either towards the camera or away from the camera. It will have one that's like a drone style shot, and then one that pulls out to a wide angle shot. That gives me enough prompts to kind of function with to make this one image move in the way that I'm going to need to make it move. So that's where we're going to jump back to the MidJourney framework where I talked about shot type. This is where this really comes into play. And I want to read that list now. So grab your pens and your piece of paper. I'm going to stop and take a drink. I see we got about 20 minutes left. So I'm going to be like going hard here. So get your pen. All right. So I pre-trained my chat in a way that I I do not come from a film background, so I learned in a very specific way. A little bit about me, I like to go do my research. I like to go learn new things. And so if it's something that I'm very interested in, I will go out of my way to go find the answers and how to get better and how to improve. And then I'll just test and fail and then test some more and fail and improve with each rep. The next thing that I would say I do is I look at how it currently is structured and are there places where in my process I can improve that. So I'll give you an example. At the beginning, we talked about a set of art styles, and I said, hey, combining these three art styles are a way to get a psychedelic feel. And then we fast forward and came back to art styles, and I gave you another art style, DMT, that does the same thing. It functionally, as you prompt with it, it does the same thing. That was me finding a more efficient way to prompt by shortening the amount of words that I have to put in, but get the same result out of two different ways to do it. So these shot types are how I found ways to set myself up with the MidJourney images. So when I get to Kling or Luma or Runway or whatever, insert your generator here. Whatever generator you're using, this gives you a smoother transition from static still image to, hey, we're going to make this move. We're going to make it move in a number of ways. And some of those ways will be created by how we tell it to make it move. So some of the shot types I use are a close-up, a ground level shot, a wide angle shot, an over the shoulder shot, a rule of thirds shot. When I'm prompting in MidJourney, I use one or both of these in tandem. I'll do a long shot or I will do an extreme long shot. And I'll pair both of those with a telephoto lens. No matter what, if I'm in MidJourney and I'm, prompting for a long shot or an extreme long shot, hey, I got to use a telephoto lens with that terminology. So the one thing that I would include in those shot types, and it's not a full list, but these are some of my favorites that I play with more often than not. I would include a drone shot. And I'll say that in Kling, I use a drone shot a lot as a transition. So going from a medium shot or a wide shot and pull out to a drone shot. Pause. I have kind of shifted to, if you followed me, you know that the cameras that I use most often are the Canon EOS, the Canon 80D, so 80D. And now that I'm in Kling prompting for video, I am finding that I use the Sony Cine Alta more times than not. I'm using the Ari Alexa more times than not. And those, between those, and the DJI Phantom 4, that's the drone that I will use. Between those, I pretty much am doing all of my filming in prompting with those cameras so that I get more of a cinematic result. I'll stop and say, hey, we are training those AI video generators in real time. So all of the input that we are putting in, when they run an update to their program, that is them taking all of our data that we've prompted and put in, and hey, this is a good result, this is a bad result. All of that is training it in real time. So if you notice in Kling, your results that you get in 1.0, version 1.0, versus your results in Kling 1.5, 1.5 is more consistent with a realistic person, realistic movement, the hair movement, the textures, the folds in the clothing, where in version 1, it's not as consistent. Doesn't matter if you're using professional, doesn't matter if you're using standard. It had less data to work with, where now it has more data to work with, and so we get better results. In Kling, I have found that from a prompt structure standpoint, I want to pair things in this way. I want the subject movement and camera movement to be one section of my prompt. I want my mood and lighting to be another section of that same prompt. And then I want to move to atmosphere as the tail end of that prompt. Those sections will allow me to essentially do the same thing with a Kling prompt that my MidJourney framework, I say MidJourney, my prompt framework would allow me to do across MidJourney, yes, but across all of the image generators. If you include these elements, hey, you're going to get closer to a more realistic result. And then it's on you to kind of tailor and tweak it to your liking. I'm finding that this Kling framework kind of functions the same way. Here's the data on why. As I was prompting in Kling and going from, hey, a singular sentence, hey, the dog ran up the street. I then evolved into, hey, the dog ran up the street and came back with a ball. Multiple sentences, more context to what I wanted to be doing. Then it went to, the dog ran up the street. The camera follows the dog at an eye level and arcs to a drone shot. It gave more context, but I still was getting decent results, but it was like not as crisp as what I know it could be. I'm a button pusher. So another thing about me, Lewis, I am a button pusher. I want to push the buttons to see how far I can push the system. Can I break it? Hey, what did I do to break it? How I want to push the limits of how far I can go with that system. So in MidJourney, I'll tell you, hey, I can get whatever results I really need to get. I can prompt for whatever I want. The limitation is there are certain parameters in the MidJourney software where it will just get flagged in the system by certain keywords or visual outputs. So once I get that and it's like, hey, this has been flagged by the system, it's like, oh, hey, I broke it. Good. All right. What did I do there? What is in that prompt that allow me to break that system or get the system to say, hey, I don't know if we should run this prompt for you because it goes against whatever standards, guidelines, protocols, stops that are in the system. I have found that, well, and this is just true across most of the platforms, but specific to MidJourney, no shot at MidJourney. I'll prompt for something and it'll give me 4 sets of 4. Let's just say it's a lady, she's an African American, she's wearing tech glasses, and I want a full body shot. When I put in the prompt, full body shot, out of those 16 images, 4 of them will have nudity in it. And so if I were to ask as a hypothetical, a MidJourney, describe that nude photo so that I can compare that photo and the description to my original prompt, it'll be like, hey, no, cannot. Cannot. This goes against community standards, but you're not going to get a strike on your profile. And it's like, okay, but you generated this. So how do I cross-reference the data as I'm trying to perfect a system of how to do what I do? I have not found that breaking point in Kling yet. Luma Dream Fusion, I've found kind of a limit where, okay, you can't go past here. Kling, I haven't found a limit yet. It'll do kind of whatever. Like, you just got a prompt for it and know how to describe it. So there is a section of our following that, hey, they just don't want to spend hours and hours and hours on learning all these new terms and prompt engineering, and totally cool. For that reason, Martial Artistry came up with those prompt packs just for you guys. You don't have to feel left out because you don't want to prompt engineer. And we set them at a very reasonable rate so that anybody, a newbie that's just coming into AI, or an expert who's been at it for a long time but just wants some different input to go in to modify and tweak and see how many new exponential outputs you can get. We designed those prompt packs for that. And over the last 60 days, we began to design prompt packs for Kling.ai as well. So when you see those AI videos across these platforms and you're wondering, hey, how did you describe that to make it move like that? We have in our subscribers hub prompts for you to play around with. And once a week, I'm giving away prompts to everybody, whoever wants to like utilize them. I encourage you to take whatever part that I suggest as a guide, whatever you don't want in there, take it out and just reframe it in your way. Like, that's what they're there for. I really am here to be a resource, and those prompts are literally just a guide there to get you started down the path of, okay, this is how I might describe something like this. And then the videos are really structured to show you, hey, this is how you can take a static image with that same prompt and take it all the way through the process and make it move. So once you master in MidJourney consistent characters, doing a full production becomes a lot easier, and you have the ability to then make your own features. That's a short film, a documentary, a music video, like what you have full flexibility. So we have tried to put together a set of resources for everyone. I encourage you to, if you're not already tapped in, definitely follow us at Martial Artistry across all platforms. Some, all, or most of this information will be on that platform in some format. There should be a playlist on just about every platform for you to go back and revisit how I did and what I talked about today, how I do everything from start to finish. Today is a little more refined way of going about that because now I'm including that Kling AI portion of the process. I'll say that it will be important for you to train your chat in ChatGPT. I would train a video prompt engineer and begin tailoring, hey, here are some resources. Here are some ways that you can be more efficient, effective. Here's something that I did. I gave a list of, I wonder if I still have that in here. I got a list of, oh, I see it. Hey, give me 2 seconds. And I'm going to go through a list of the producers that I used. Hang on. Yeah. Y'all are like that. Because this is really what got me to start to be more efficient on Kling, was giving some of these individuals in as, hey, lean on their experience. So I have a list of 20 of my top or favorite filmmakers. Not in any order, just a list of, hey, when I have gone to the movies, watched a show, anything like that, hey, who directed it or filmed it? I want to get that my list. Again, I know that the internet has a way of shooting shots because of these top lists. Yo, this is my top intro to Kling AI prompting list. And I'm going to bounce between the two sides, and I'm only given 10. So number 1 on the list, Spike Lee. Number 2 on the list, James Cameron. Number 3, Ava DuVernay. Number 4, Steven Spielberg. Number 5, Ryan Coogler. Number 6, Quentin Tarantino. Number 7, Jordan Peele. Number 8, Ridley Scott. Number 9, John Singleton. And number 10, George Miller. So those were 10 of the individuals that, as I was giving my chat training data to say, hey, I want you to look at how they did what they do and fuse that with what I've already told you my vision is. I want it to look like this. I want it to be presented like this. So when we prompt, only prompt it this way. In parallel, I trained a second chat and gave it everybody, like the whole list. Lean on all of their combined years of experience. And I want you to begin to talk to me like a novice filmmaker and help me to articulate how to describe this scene more effectively so that I could prompt better in this other chat. So 2 chats in tandem. One for me, hey, I need you to make it like this because this is my style. And then one saying, hey, I need you to teach me how to be a better filmmaker by leaning on all of their experience and translating it to me so that I can then become a better prompt engineer through the experience of, hey, this is how you might film a scene like this. This is how they might script it in terms of, hey, you're going to need this prompt for this prompt for this prompt for this prompt for this. In doing that, that's allowed me more flexibility and freedom to branch away from what I see online when people are prompting for subject movement. Instead of it just the subject moving and a camera just following and tracking, hey, now we're getting more dynamic camera motions that are cinematic so that as I'm building out B-roll for whatever, for the show, for a video that I'm putting together, I'm able to have a more realistic, dynamic version that I own outright. It's my own B-roll that I can generate from whatever image that I choose to produce in MidJourney, which has the highest quality in terms of image output and photorealism. So that allows me to become more cinematic because of that start to finish process. So if you give good data into MidJourney and you get good output out in terms of the image quality, and then you quality control it, and then you go work with your trained chats to get yourself some prompts to like throw in that are going to be cinematic to your liking, then the results that come out of Kling become more cinematic and allow you a better quality result at the end of the process. But it's all of that encompassed in one, and not many people are explaining that process all the way through. So today was really meant to give context. Hey, here is my experience. Here are the tools that I use. Here are the ways that I have used them. Here are the results that I got and how I use them to improve the next portion of the process. So having the framework already allowed me to be able to prompt a little better in Kling because I already had a framework. Hey, how do we make this sound more like a director, but with this like prompting in mind? I need you to explain it in a different way because I don't come from that background, but I still need to know the information enough on my current creator level to improve with every rep. So I will say for those that are actually really interested in this, definitely follow my martial artistry profile on every platform. If you're interested in getting more specific info, I would encourage you to subscribe. If you have questions, what I tell people is that I'm here to be a resource. And if you want to ask a question, you can always direct message me. You can leave it in the comments. If you've come to know me in the audio spaces, you can always leave it in the chat. You can ask a question if you're up on stage. I am here to be a resource. I don't know it all, and the things that I don't know, I will learn with you. And I'm happy to put content together behind it so that the next person behind us can learn right along with us. So most of the spaces on my platforms have already been curated in that way, where you should have all of the tools that I left behind for learning MidJourney and how to prompt for photorealism, list of art styles and prompts that might be helpful. Now we're getting into video prompts that might be helpful for individuals. So definitely get tapped in. If there are no questions on this chat, I kept it pretty close to an hour today. I did good. I will have this available on replay in the subscriber hub. This is going to be a subscriber only video after today, so that those that are really serious, you can get tapped in and have a resource of your own to get all the way through the process the way that I choose to do it, and really refine it and make it your own. I want to say thank you to everybody who popped in today. I know this week has been a stressful and trying week for a lot of individuals. I tried to do my part and put out some things artwork wise that would be positive and constructive. And so if you were able to engage with that content, I want to tell you thank you because it helped me. While I found myself trying to help others, you guys actually helped me. So I do want to say thank you to everyone. Uh, the emoticons, the comments, the likes, the love, all of it actually really helped me. So thank you. Uh, we are gearing up for our annual holiday craft fair, which is on November 30th and December 1st at the Hawaii Okinawa Center. So we'll be releasing new water bottles here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be pretty full tilt boogie out in the airbrush shop. I'm actually going to be changing clothes as soon as we get off of here. I'm headed out there to finish up a commission. I'm working on a motorcycle helmet, trying to get these bottles prepped, but I will be teasing out some content about that. I'll likely be putting that in the stories so that you guys can still find everything in the main feed. Other than that, if you guys need anything from me, drop it in either this video or my most recent content from today, what you would like to see this week. Again, if you were here at the very beginning, I did drop an image on my main page with 4 images within it. I need for you to do 2 things. 1, drop in the comments for the live today. Hey, what is your football team and where are you watching from? And then 2, on that image with the 4 images within it, I need you to pick one for today. And then this week, what we're going to do is collectively try and make that image that you select move. I'm going to try and make all 4 move, but I want you to select one so that I can go through with a group of people. Here's how I prompt for making this image do this. So definitely get tapped in. If you're in the subscribers hub, you already got most of the information, but we're going to revisit this week for those that are new. So I appreciate your guys' time today. This has been really fun. I hope it's been informative for you. I want to close out with this. You are going to need to work with your community. This upcoming time as we close out 4th quarter is really going to be very, very critical for getting tapped in with your circle. So I encourage you to check on your people, get tapped in with your circle. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and join the Unleashed AI Creativity group. That is our hub for our AI family. It's a private group, so you can feel free to share what you want and grow right along with us. On YouTube, definitely follow the Leadership Lounge official channel. I'm trying to get that page up and going and have just kind of collaborated with another member of our group as a way to get this content out to you guys in a more collaborative way. Can't get too much into it, but definitely this week I'm looking forward to dropping some of that stuff. And then if you are on Fanbase, definitely tap into both the AI Anonymous Camp and the Unleashed AI Creativity Group and follow your boy. With that being said, I really appreciate y'all, and I'm about to get out of here so I can go do some airbrushing. I hope you guys have a great, great, great week. If you need me, you know where to find me. Otherwise, I'll holla. Peace.